Hello! Welcome to a brand new day of real life. Not on Magic the Gathering Arena. Get the dish on the latest with me, Lord Rumfish. So, I haven't been in front of the camera for a while. Um, some updates. I did finish the third expansion of Wastes of Veldmar. Um, the block of magic cards that I've been designing, you can check it out on MTG Nexus in the link below. And in its description of like lore and information, it has links to the other two sets. But that's not what I'm doing today. What I'm doing today is a box opening. And I wanted to talk a little bit about this cool new game. And I'll discuss it and I'll discuss Magic, where I think everything's at right now. Um, so I'm not giving up on Magic. Even if I take breaks from Magic like I have in the past, at some point I'll probably roll back around. But today I wanted to talk to you about this cool game I found called Sorcery Contested Realm. So this is a pretty neat game. The art is all hand painted if you're not familiar with it, including by a bunch of classical Magic artists. I mean, it's hard to even begin to enumerate them. Margaret Organ Keane, Liz Danforth, and they've got some other famous, painters and people like Frank Frazetta. There's been some pieces that were done by Boris Vallejo. There's all kinds of neat art in the game, and it's played on a grid. Um, your land deck is separate from your spell deck, and you play them on a grid and you move around on the lands, and so the terrain actually factors into the gameplay. Excuse me. So this is Sorcery Contested Realm. This is Arthurian Legends. So this is the first expansion of it. I would be doing a opening of beta. They've got like alpha and beta; those are their core sets. But the thing is, beta's sold out at the moment. Again, they had a reprint of beta and it's sold out again. They said they're going to do a third printing of beta, but they wanted to target parts of the world that didn't get much of it before. So I don't know how easy it's going to be to get a hold of like the next printing of beta, or if they're going to change it up and turn it into a different set where it's like white bordered and call it unlimited or gamma or whatever. But this is Arthurian Legends. So this has 24 boosters in it. The price had scaled all the way back to $89, shipped to my door, not counting tax. I decided $89 was a price I was willing to pay. So, and check out the box. Isn't the box kind of beautiful? On the back here, there's a code you can scratch off in the middle of this. And it can get you what they call dust. Dust points get you dust rewards. So if you buy enough of the products and such, you can get some alternate art and like maybe playmats and other collectible stuff. Anyway, let's crack into this thing. Let's see if it's as easy to cut into as a magic box. The answer is yes. My fingernail works just fine. All right. So there's this sticker. That is not so easy. Let me see if I can peel it up here. There you go. All right. So the set's been out for a while at this point. Everyone knows the box stopper, but I have never opened this product before. So this isn't going to be like a speedy box opening. I'm going to be talking. Um, so I'm going to open this and take a look at like the avatar and the tokens and whatnot. If I can get it open. Ah, there we go. Well, that was not easy, but cards feel pretty good. So these avatars are what represents you. When you're in the realm, your avatar can be attacked and moved, and you can move around, and you can even attack things. Like this number up here is how much damage you would do in combat. So, you know, if a unit came up to you and attacked you directly, this is how much damage you deal back to them. Um, and this is your life total up here. Everyone that I've seen so far has had 20, but presumably they could play around with it in the future. These are for the druid, the bear, and the owl. Rubble is what happens when a site is destroyed. You can still walk around on it, but no one controls it anymore, and it doesn't make mana. And it can be replaced with another site. A rules insert, and a card with all the artists, with a kind of a shiny treatment. I think I'm a little nervous today, being more clumsy than usual, but these are tokens. They're tiny little things. Lances, stealth, foot soldiers. There's a little like 1 power dudes made by some of the cards in the game. All right. Let's get into the meat of it. So when Sorcery came out, there was a lot of hype, and the hype dies down because they only release one set a year. And so there's a long time for people to think and stew and brew their decks and get to know the sets. But that also means that there's a lot of time to wait, and people will make up rumors and talk about how the game's not doing well, when in fact they're just really waiting. They're tired of waiting for the new set. And they move on to something else for a while until they come back to it. So where it says exceptional on these cards, hopefully the camera is picking that up. These are the uncommons of the set. So it starts with the uncommons. So those are the exceptionals. Make a little pile here. This is an elite card. Elites are like the rares. These are the ordinary cards. And the reason we're going to be looking through the ordinary cards, other than to show you the art, which is gorgeous, is we're looking for little hidden things, because Eric's Curioso that makes this game likes to put hidden things in here. There are cards called curios, and some of them are only very subtly different than the normal version of the card. Like the text in the text box will be different. There's also some really fancy rare cards that can appear like, I don't know, once every 50 cases or something. Something really rare. Some super shiny ones that look like they've come out of an illuminated tome. So if we can find one of those, I will have definitely made my money back and more. if we don't find one of those, I'm still content with the price that I paid for this box. So the hand-painted art is what wowed me initially about looking at this product, but after I watched some gameplay of it, I realized that the gameplay looked like fun too. You get to create the game board as you go. The lands have different effects, and here's some exceptionals. All right, so this one is a unique. One of the oddities about Arthurian Legends is that some of the knights in the set are unique because they're like a legend, sort of. You can only have one copy of a unique, 2 copies of an elite, 3 copies of an exceptional, or 4 copies of an ordinary in your deck. So it's a deck building restriction, and it makes it so that this named character doesn't show up more than once. But in this particular set, some of the knights are only at elite rarity, but show up with unique on the type line. So let's see, we're still going to make a unique pile. Then we're going to look through the ordinaries here to see if we can find what they call a curio. Okay, like on Weightless Squire, if the text in the text box was up at the top here, like he's borne aloft, he's flying. If the text was up here, it would be a curio. And that would be an exceptionally rare card. I might not know all of the curios. In fact, it's possible that no one knows all the curios. Eric's Curiosa plays things close to the chest. They like to maintain the mystery of the game. It's kind of neat. All right. Babbling Brook. Exceptional pile. Oh, Blunderbore. Yeah, that's a real unique there. It's not one of the Sirs, they call them. That's a real unique for the set. Plays with giant tribal themes. Oh, we got a foil here too. Okay, so we can kind of show off this Kettletop Leprechaun. And one of the neat things about the foils is they always have the full art on the back of the card. It's kind of a neat touch. So we'll make a little foil pile up here. And we'll look through the ordinaries, trying to see Shameless Squire. The word drops would be down at a tilt if it was a curio. So we look through here just to make sure there's not any super rare cards hiding. So yeah, once I saw some of the gameplay of this game, I realized that not only was the art beautiful, it wasn't just like a collectible game, but it looked like it was also going to be fun to play. So little bit by little bit, I have been starting my sorcery collection. First, I bought some singles, and most of them were just ordinaries, the commons. Sword and Shield. Right. Horn of Caerleon. Just guessing at how that's pronounced. Yeah, I bought a bunch of ordinaries and a few exceptionals and one or two elites that were all kind of cheap. Just paid like $15 and started gradually collecting little bits of sorcery, and now I've got up before I opened this box, I had about maybe 400 cards total that I've bought, and most of those are still ordinaries and exceptionals. And now I'm a Reckless Squire. I think on this one, there's either like an exclamation mark or the Lance is first here and Charge goes second in all capital letters. That's the curio on that one. So yeah, at this point, now I've got enough stuff to make my first couple of decks. one I've put forth more effort into finding the cards for, and the other one's going to be an extreme budget deck. But I'm I'm building towards the point that I'm going to play and not just collect sorcery. I would be happy just collecting it. Oh, Morgana Le Fay. So she is one of the big hits out of this set. So Morgana, if you can read her text box, I'm not sure what it looks like on the phone right now. When she enters the battlefield, that's her Genesis ability, she draws her own hand of 3 spells, which only she can cast. Spells originate from your spellcaster. Your avatar is always a spellcaster. You can also have minions like Morgana Le Fay that are spellcasters. She effectively draws you 3 cards, and she has stealth, which means it's hard to kill her. You can't target her. You could, aim a big area effect at the terrain where she's standing, but it's hard to hit her directly. Which means that she could sneak around the battlefield and cast her hand of 3 spells. And that's, if you know Magic the Gathering, and I said, this was like you paid 3 mana and drew 3 spells and got a 3/3 in the process, be like, oh, that's good. That's kind of what she's doing here. So yeah, she's a very good unique. One of the chase cards of the set. I'm very happy to have her. All right, I'm gonna keep looking here, and I'm a little nervous being in front of the camera after such a long time. So bear with me. I might make a video talking about me at some point, why I had a long break from YouTube, but I don't feel like going into that today necessarily. Today I just kind of want to talk about sorcery and magic. All right, so I'm not giving up on magic, right? You can play more than one game at the same time. Obviously, playing more than one TCG gets expensive, so you kind of have to budget your money. As far as magic goes, I've been buying more singles lately. I'll probably do a video where I talk about, what the value of a card is. Because I bought a bunch of magic cards for very cheap. Wizard's Den. So this is an elite, it's like a rare, but it's a good one. You draw a spell when this enters, and you only discard a spell when the site is attacked for the first time successfully. That's one of the things about sorcery. You can, if you want to make the opponent's avatar lose life, you can attack their sites. And that'll get them down to 0 at death's door. Then you have to hit them directly in order to finish them off and win the game. All right. Yeah, I love the art in this set. The art is still like the big thing that drew me to the game in the first place. No curios there. We're not expecting to hit any curios either. I said like 50 cases earlier. It's probably, I don't know, more like 50 boxes. 50 or 100 boxes, something like that. Which is a lot. They're exceedingly rare. All right. Some exceptionals. Oh, invasion. That seems kind of useful. It's another elite. It's not like a chase card or anything, but I think it could be of use. Could find a way to make it work in a deck. Thankless Squire. So this one, the curio, it says Lance, 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 and then underneath it, it says immobile. Like the lances are piled up on top of him, and so that's like what's making him immobile. It's a cute thing to do with the curio in the text box. So yeah, I'll get more into it when I do the magic video on the cards I bought, but basically I bought 1,200 magic cards, like 1,200, from TCG sellers, and I paid $120. So it came up to about 10 cents a card, and all of those cards were either rares, mythics, or they were like special showcase cards or, secret layer cards. They were all at an average of 10 cents a piece. And I'll do a future video where I show you all of those and talk about what does value mean in Magic. I'm a different kind of collector. I like to buy in bulk, I like to buy things that are cheap, and I like to own a lot of cards. It also means my collection cannot really be stolen. um, you'd need a bag of holding, and the bag of holding might not hold all of it. All right, Sir Tristan. Um, so I think this is one of the elite level unique knights, but still, it's a cool card. I have not played my first game of sorcery yet, but I want to. And part of the reason I'm getting two decks together is I have a friend who's usually down to try any game, play anything. He's into board games. He does play Magic, but he doesn't own any decks. He just plays with someone else's deck for fun when anyone else is playing. So I was thinking I could introduce him to sorcery by, coming prepared with like a playmat and two decks and everything and just kind of teach him the rules. Now, obviously, since I've never played the game, I don't have the firmest grasp on the rules. I've been trying to study. I've been trying to learn how everything goes. Oh, Bower of Bliss, this is a unique site. Well, that's cool. Mortals in the realm become beasts and are silenced. It means they lose their abilities. Neat card. So yeah, when they're turned sideways, that's a site, and you play them horizontally on the battlefield. And the battlefield is 4 squares by 5 squares, so there's 20 spaces in total. That sideways orientation helps to show the difference between these other spells of the game and the sites. So at some point here I might speed up a little bit more, but mostly I'm just taking my time and enjoying opening all these cards, getting to do this for the first time. Until now, all the cards of sorcery I've ever looked at or owned were singles. Rebel Boggart, an awfully unpredictable elite fairy. So yeah, there's been some drama about people saying, sorcery is going to kill magic, or, is sorcery going to survive, etc., etc. Probably the truth of the matter is both games will survive. I think sorcery is being run well enough, created with enough love and intent, and with a guy at the head of the company who's got kind of deep pockets, that I think this game is going to survive. And I needed an annual fair. I've got a elementalist. I want to do like a 4-color deck where I run all the elements. So annual fair is a really great card for doing that. You get to pay mana into it and increase your threshold. And yeah, those two things are separate in this game. Sir Agravain is one of the elite uniques. Yeah, one of the things in this game is the threshold that you need to cast something, and then the mana. So the number in the circle is always like the number of sites producing mana or whatever else you have that makes mana. And then next to it, it will tell you what threshold of elemental sources you need in order to be able to cast the spell. So you have to meet both conditions. And there are some cards that give threshold without mana, and some cards give mana without threshold, and there are some cards that don't require any threshold, like artifacts type of things. And then there are, you know, some cards that require like all four colors now. They introduced multicolor cards with the knights and such in this set for the first time. All right, so with this pack, we will be halfway through the box. And since we hit Morgana, I'm already pretty happy with how the box is doing. But hopefully there will still be something interesting for the viewers as we go further in. It looks like there's a foil peeking out here. Here's Elite Shapeshift. Oh, Sir Agravain. So this is at least like getting a foil elite, like a foil rare, and that's nice. Put him up here with the Kettletop Leprechaun. So yeah, it's not like a super valuable card, but getting the foils in the set are pretty rare, and foil uniques and elites are very rare. They're worth a lot of money, it turns out. There's quite a multiplier on their price. And for cards from the first set, Alpha had a very finite print run, and it didn't get reprinted. They just made Beta instead. And there are some differences between Alpha and Beta. Minor differences, but still. Enough that the foils in Alpha are worth quite a bit, and the foil uniques in Alpha are kind of dumb in how much they cost. So if you're looking to get into the game, if you want to collect it, Alpha collecting is expensive. If you just want to play, I would recommend picking up some Beta and the non-foils. An Elite Giant. I think this is a good card. It's like not expensive or anything, but I think it is totally serviceable in gameplay. So there's a little bit more, like there's a back and forth between like the metagame right now of Sorcery, where aggro sometimes has a hard time because some of the tools that exist for killing small creatures are very efficient. But at the same time, you can't necessarily depend on the game to go on forever to drop your 7 drops and 8 drops and whatnot. Because there's some pretty deadly plays that people can make in the mid game. So I would say like control mid-rangey kind of decks are more of where the metagame is in Sorcery right now. It's hard to be aggro just at the moment. There might be additional tools to do that in the future. And you could try to build your deck to take advantage of the way people play if you know your metagame well. Sir Bors the Younger. This is a good card, actually. You know, not a valuable card, but a good card. Hamlet's Ablaze. Okay. Now let me know in the comments if I have skipped over a curio or something. I just didn't notice it. It would be very helpful. So yeah, I don't know if I will end up playing a lot of tournaments. Maybe I'll play 1 or 2. I live in basically northern Kentucky, kind of central northern Kentucky. So getting out to like Lexington or Louisville or Cincinnati is like a possibility. Much further away than that starts to become quite a drive. And I'm not a spring chicken anymore. All right, let's see. Cursed Land. It's elite site. And we got a foiled joust. This is just an ordinary, but again, the foils are all fairly valuable in the set. Even the difference between, like, I don't know, a normal ordinary and a foil, that multiplier is still kind of there. So, like, a joust might be like 3 cents or 7 cents, and then in foil, maybe it's 50 cents, maybe it's $1. It multiplies quite a bit being in foil. All right, I do need to work through this video before my phone runs out of battery. I do have a new phone. I need to go ahead and do the upgrade over to it. All right, Snowball, Vanishment, Blue Cap Knockers. Brother Knight. These guys are neat. So you can have two of them in a deck, and one of them summons the other one when you play it. It's kind of cool. All right. See, I do know there have been some tournaments not too far away from me. Like, I think there was one in Newport, Kentucky, like up towards Cincinnati. Might have been something across the river in Indiana. I know there's a guy in West Virginia whose store makes videos for sorcery. West Virginia is not easy to get to, though. If you know anything about Appalachia and those glacial mountains that formed from glacial runoff out in eastern Kentucky and stuff, there's not good roads out through there, and West Virginia is not easy to get to. There's like not a great direct route over there. So even though it doesn't seem like it's that far away, it would probably be a hell of a drive. Still, it'd be kind of cool to go out that way. All right, Golden Harp. Elite Instrument. Golden Harp is like a sideboard kind of a card. Could be very good if the metagame turns towards like giants and stuff. Frisky Red Squirrel in foil. That's exceptional. It's pretty tricky too. You can take somebody's, artifact or ring or whatever and bury it underneath the site to where they can't get it anymore. It's pretty funny. And again, the foils always have the full art on the back. Did I not show that for Joust? I don't think I did. So I am excited about this game, just in general. I think the potential for it is kind of amazing. Just the way that the gameplay is, the way that it uses all hand-painted art. It's a beautiful game and it's a fun game. And I'm looking forward to getting into it. Yeah, I might just play mostly casually, which is honestly true of how I've played Magic most of my life. There were a few times where I tried to go like do professional things with Magic. They didn't totally pan out. One tournament was kind of a heartbreaker. Nearly made it to day 2, but Sylvan Splendor is the rare. The elite, I should say. I've been to a few PTQs and played in 3 Grand Prix back in the day. A little bit of this and that, but mostly I've played like some Friday Night Magics and some pre-releases and stuff. The last time I played a pre-release was Thunder Junction, which the limited format for that set was fun. Interestingly, the limited format for this most recent set, Ether Drift, is actually fun. I've been having some fun playing it on Arena. So, even though I find like the premise of the sets to be kind of dumb and gimmicky, if the gameplay's good, at least it's fun to play. That was one of the problems with Murders at Karlov Manor. They actually have there's a bunch of good rares and mythics in Murders at Karlov Manor. It's like a worthwhile set, but a lot of the sets, like major themes, fell flat and weren't good enough for constructed like detectives and collecting evidence. And then its limited format wasn't much fun. Sealy Court. Oh, just a rock and foil. That's great. That's great. I love it. Oh, so you can replace someone's artifact that they're carrying, banish it, and replace it with this. It's like, hey, that's not a magic ring. That's just a rock. And they're like, what? And they look down, and it turns out it is just a rock. It has been the whole time. Oh, it's silly. I love it. And most of the set has a fairly serious tone, so I think they play their humor well. They don't overdo it in sorcery, right? Most of these cards are trying to take themselves pretty seriously, and then the ones that are humorous, that's great. It's a breath of fresh air. So, what's coming up in sorcery? There's going to be a little mini set. Um, Something about the Dragon Lord, I believe. That one, all of the art's going to be done by Edward P. Beard Jr. I think it's the artist. And he worked with them, Eric's Curiosa, to develop the mechanics and the cards of the set and their effect as well as their art. It's only 13 cards, and I think they're going to sell it in some kind of way where you get all 13 cards, like it's not a random distribution. It's just, kind of like I don't know, a secret layer drop or a from the vault or whatever. So you just get the cards, I think, because it's too small to do like a booster set release. But then sometime later this year, probably towards winter, if I had to guess. Although October would be fantastic. They're going to release Gothic. Castles Ablaze is the elite. And Gothic is kind of like the name sounds. It's going to be like a Gothic horror kind of set and take on the other motifs of the Gothic era and art style and all of that. Um, and it's going to be one of the huge releases. It's going to be like a set with over 400 cards probably, and it's going to have new starter decks that people can shuffle up and play to learn the game. That I'm looking forward to that. I'm definitely going to buy the starter decks, and I may go ahead and try to buy a box of it when it comes out. So far, the sorcery products, like the only one that hasn't sold out up till now is Arthurian Legends, and there's not going to be another print run of Arthurian Legends. They've already said that. So even if the market's on a little bit of a lull right now, once that lull ends, once the new set comes out and people want to go back and pick up like cheaper boxes of older sets, I suspect at that time that Arthurian Legends is going to pop back up. And that's why I wanted to go ahead and get it now while it's cheap. Sir K. Alright. Whenever he targets a weaker minion, he untaps. Well, that's cool. There are some cards that make like a bunch of 1/1 soldiers and stuff. You saw the little tokens earlier. So having a card that could kill a bunch of them could be useful. Alright, looking for anything unusual back through here. curios and whatnot. So I think everyone is kind of holding their breath a bit, like going off and doing other things and waiting for this Dragon Lord set and of like 13 cards, and then finally the big set of the year, Gothic. I think Gothic is it's a good theme to build around. I think it's going to be wildly popular. Um, I mean, it's a theme I love the sound of, something I would buy the heck out of. Like, if you think about Magic and some of its earliest expansions, it would be kind of like the theme of the dark. You know, Dame Bertomart, Lugbog Cat. It was actually a pretty good card. Foil exceptional, and you see this little guy here in the art. Here, let me show the back. There's like a little guy standing there and this giant cat. This is actually like a pretty threatening monster. All right. Weightless Squire. It's always nice to get another foil. We did technically get a foil unique, but it was one of the knights. So I would love it if we hit another foil rare or foil unique. I mean elite or unique. I should use the right jargon when I'm talking about the game, I guess. Castle Haunt, Fine Courser, Pebbled Paths, Sir Gareth. Okay, I think this is one of the actual uniques. So when they have the double, like 2 of one element and 2 of another element in the mana cost up here, I think that means it's actually unique, not at elite rarity. So this is a real unique. That's cool. He's in disguise. All right. Keeping an eye out for curios or anything fancy. All right, this is our last pack. So, so far I would say this is a kind of an average box. We got a good hit with Morgana Le Fay, so that made it all kind of feel worthwhile. Otherwise, the box has not done anything real stellar. There's a card that I would like to hit that looks like we're not going to. There is a ring in this set, which is quite powerful and might have to be banned at some point. Oh, well, at least it's a unique Excalibur. Bearer has +1 power for each of their elements. If they have all 4, they're immune to damage. So this is neat. So King Arthur is all 4 elements. If he picks up Excalibur, then he's like a 5/5 for 4, and if he picked up this, I guess he would be a 9/9 who's immune to damage. They're both unique, so the odds of getting them together are not high. You can only have 1 copy of each in your deck. But there's a card in the base set from Alpha and Beta that's a common. It's an ordinary card. It's like a Caravan for 5. It's a 4/4 for 5 with like 1 fire threshold. And it counts as being every type of threshold and every type of creature. And so I think if you play Excalibur on that thing, that would turn into an 8/8 that was immune to all damage, and it's just a common. So I think I can put this card to use. I think I could build around it a little bit. So I'm happy to get that. All right, Shameless Squire, not a curio. Okay. So yeah, I'm pretty content with this box. Morgana Le Fay, as I said, was a big hit. And the rest of it is fine. I wanted the cards. I wanted more of the set. I haven't bought that many singles of Arthurian Legends. So most of these ordinaries and exceptionals and things are of use to me. Anyway, Um, so sound off in the comments. Let me know what you think about taking a look at sorcery. Um, Let me know what you think about magic. And are you excited for the Dragon Lord set and Gothic that are coming out later this year? I think they're going to be big. Gothic especially. Um, and other than that, yeah, just check out my links in the description. I'll do a video coming up soon about the third expansion, the last set of Veldmar block. And until then, never stop honing your critical thinking and empathy.